Shout out to Jedi Run. He asked me to put a list together of all my books. I decided to just go through a couple books at a time, do a couple volumes to make it so, it wouldn't be so boring and other people could get some knowledge of some good books, other than him. Shout out to Jedi Run. I wore this shirt to symbolize, there you go, this guy right here. He was waiting on the Jedi to come pick him up and save him. All right, let's get into it. First book, Baseball Greats, Feats, and Facts. What it is I'm a natural historian. I like the history of
sports, music, and movies. So, and that's something that you can turn that into a good conversation. If I like history and I like sports, I like the history of sports. If I like history and I like music, I like the history of music. And if I like history and I like movies, guess what I like? The history of movies. There you go. Now, one thing I do like to do, I mentioned movies. This book here, The Bad News Bears, this movie was my favorite childhood movie growing up. And one thing I like to do is read books that were made into movies. Watch the movie and read the book and come up with what's different in the book and the movie, the difference between the two. Next, the story of philosophy. Half the Truth Has Never Been Told, Slavery and the Making of American Capitalism. Another book that was made into a movie, Donnie Brasco. Another book that was made into a movie, The Last Emperor. The Power of Now. This is about how you're supposed to just be a guide to spiritual enlightenment. Right. This book is about you concentrate on where you're at right now. Right now I'm making a YouTube video. I need not be focused on anything but that. Not what I'm going to be doing later. Not what the line is on the next NBA basketball game. None of that stuff is important right now. What is important is this YouTube video. Malcolm X, By Any Means Necessary. Another book that was made into a movie, 8 Men Out. If you don't know about this story, it's about the 1919 World Series that was fixed. Like, it's not no conspiracy. The players came out and said, it was 8 of them, came out and said, we did this shit. Now, when I talked about books and movies and the similarities and the differences, this book here reads exactly like the movie. So it's a good book too, because it's a good story. I like gambling. Biology for Dummies. Why did I buy this book? I don't even know why. I was at one point pursuing radiology. Another movie book, Casino. But you know what I say about this? It doesn't read like the movie as far as, how it starts off. When you love someone, you gotta trust them. It don't start off like that. What it is eyewitness accounts from like federal agents and stuff like that about what went on. It's not a very good book as far as as far as going with the movie. Iron John, a book about men. This is a good red pill book. This is basically a red pill book, is what it is. It's basically talking about you're a man and you've got this king inside of you and nobody can take it away from you. Book on gambling. The Big Bankroll, The Life and Times of Arnold Rothstein. He's the guy that was behind them fixing the World Series in 1919. See how that goes together? Now, there's some accounts as to what role he played in it. I think he just financed it so that the players, he's a big wig, Rothstein is. He was a big wig and he got some small time dudes to fix the World Series, but they never paid the players. And that's why the shit blew up like that. Drug legalization. As you all know, I'm a medical marijuana patient, so I had an interest in that book. The Outsiders. Another book that was a movie that became a movie. So this is my favorite book. I talked about this last week, about we as black people We need to challenge the myth of the black inferiority complex. Good book. Technology in Society. Illegal Immigration. Healing without scars. I'm sorry. You know, I've done some things in my life that I'm not proud of, and they still weigh on me heavily, and I needed that book to try to see me through some things. The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. This is a book by the Nation of Islam, so you can say it's not really a good relationship between blacks and Jews. It talks about how in the 1800s, when it came to like artisan field skilled positions like carpentry and plumbing and stuff like that, they kept blacks out. Prisons. A book on prisons. I mean, what are you going to say as to who they're populating, and basically kind of like the school to prison pipeline. Current Controversies is the series. They got a lot of good books out there, man. Privilege, Rage of a Privileged Class. Why are middle American blacks angry? Why should America care? It's basically saying how a lot of blacks thought that if they became educated and moved themselves up into the middle class, they would be respected by white people. It's not the case. Out of Wedlock Births, self-explanatory. Y'all know I like sports and sports betting. Beat the Sports Book, an insider's guide to NFL betting. The author of this book probably made more money from me buying it than I have betting. But I will say that's where I got the idea for the media manipulation, when they try to manipulate you by telling you certain things in the media about a team to get you to go one way and you go the opposite way. It works a lot of times, but you can't play every day. There's no sense in, oh, what they do in their last game, their last 5 road games, and how well did they play within the last 3 minutes, and that's all bullshit. Media manipulation is the only way to halfway be successful at sports betting. You just got to wait till the media is trying to persuade you, so you can't bet all the time. The assassination of the black male image, how no matter who the black man is, they try to tarnish him. Just look at the faces there, and there's some controversy surrounding each one of these brothers. Sugar Busters, how to cut sugar to make yourself healthy. And the last book I'm going to review today is called Interference. You know what it's about? It's about the conspiracy to fix NFL games. There's a guy who used to be a sports bettor or something. He was something. I don't know what he was. But he talked about they've been fixing NFL football games since Sammy Bowe. You know what I'm saying? So they've been doing it a long time. So part of the reason why the smart people don't bet is because they know the shit's manipulated. There you have it. Volume 1 of my book review. I'll do another one probably next week. I figure I take one shelf at a time. That was one shelf, and I got, I think, 2 more shelves, and then we'll be done with it. So have a good day, everybody.